Hello everyone, my name is Skullgirls2007 and the purpose of this video is to show Fortune players the changes that are present in version 1.01 as opposed to the version 1.0. And I will post a link to the patch notes on the description as soon as possible so you can follow along if you would like, because I am just going to go through the whole list and explain possible reasons why these changes happened and demonstrate how new patch Fortune could work for you. So the first change is the cat scratch series, which means this and the slide and the overhead. It receives several adjustments. The first one is the first punch button determines the strength of the following versions. It used to be that from the any light punch or whatever, or light kick, you could do a Rekka, right? And you could do the medium one afterwards, and it would actually change strength. And there was enough hit stun for it to combo, and then you could do the heavy one, and basically you did pennies less damage than starting with the heavy one. So they changed that so that the first button determines it. I'm going to do light punch, then medium punch, then heavy punch, but you'll see that it still does the light punch version. And same with the heavy punch. If I do light punch last, it still does the heavy punch. Alright? The damage was redistributed so that most of it is on the third hit, for good reason. First, let me show you how much the damage is. It used to be, for the light punch, 450, 500, and then 650. Now it's 300, 350, and 950. So as you can see, that's a lot. Chunk of damage is in the third hit. The medium one used to be 575, 625, 775, but now it is 350, 400, and then 1100. Pause for a second. I don't know if you know this, but the damage scaling in the game is actually dependent on how strong the attack is to begin with. So damage is scaled to a certain lower percentage if your move is weaker than 1000 base, and to a larger percentage if it's stronger, so it does more damage if it's a bigger hit, always. A good thing to note is, in this version, the third Rekka for medium punch is 1100 damage, and for heavy punch also is larger than 1000 points, so they will do more damage later in a combo. So it's great to finish with the head-on Rekkas, head-on heavy punch Rekka, or the third medium punch Rekka here to do the most damage. The heavy punch used to be 700, 750, 900, now it's 400, 450, 1250. So as you can see, the damage is kind of piddly at first, and then boom. Now why is damage so piddly? Because that's another depressing change just now. Because now this does a lot less damage. As you can see, that last hit before the headbutt hit is actually larger than the rest of the Rekkas because it's scaled differently. So, what else has been changed? The speed of Elgato overhead. The Elgato, normal Elgato is this one, but the Elgato is refers to as the one from the Rekkas. Now, if you know, she has the slide, and then she has an overhead, but the overhead is so damn slow that there is no mix-up there. I mean, it really isn't. They just block low until they see something otherwise. So, in this case, it's a little faster when you compare it to the pre-patch version. Still, as you can see, it doesn't combo, and it's not a true block string. They can return to neutral and do a DP or do a super or whatever anyway, or do a light punch, I think. But, no, you know what? Let's test that theory. Sexy, sexy. Training mode. Now I saved the punch, and I'm gonna say as reversal. So sexy. Okay. Yep. You can. However, they also changed it so that it is super cancelable through the hit. So I can do that, or I can even do this. All right. So sexy. So now you actually have a certain mix-up there. I mean, it may not be, you know, very easy, but for example, I can do this. Wait, hold on. Let me do this. And on block, it actually helps provide for actual cover for the overhead because it's actually faster now. So you can create a lot better block strings and a lot of pressure in the corner. Why is that the corner? But, oh yeah, I'm talking about Headbutt and Zoom. Headbutt and Zoom now have the same damage and it's less than normal. It used to be something about 750, 800, I don't know what it was. Now it's 750, 650, 675, I can't speak. 675, and now give meter the equivalent of a projectile rather than a normal attack for reasons that I don't care to explain by words. So, that's why. Because the more you do it, and the screw attack is the same thing. Screw attack was also, this is screw attack, is when you hit the head, right? And the head hits the opponent. That's also normalized now to 500 instead of 575 and gives meter equivalent to a projectile rather than a physical attack. So a little less meter gain overall from that whole sequence, and that's a good thing. So, let's go on to this. As with other cinematic blockbusters, this completely pauses the time so the time will not run out during it. I suppose it's so, oh, there's 1 second left, do this, and hold up the whole second in an invincible move. I don't know. Or perhaps the original intent was to have it be like a cinematic super. I don't know. Now, unfortunately, his head is attached. Now, hold on. Let me reset this. You reset by holding select, by the way. Head-on super has 3 changes. It knocks it higher and slides further. And the reasons being, of course, that there's less time before they're invulnerable, so you can actually attack with more things. Let's watch. That was light punch. That was light kick. Crouching is the same as standing light punch. You can do crouching light kick a lot easier. You can even do... Oops, I failed at it. Crouching medium punch, or crouching medium kick, or crouching heavy kick, which the first hit I canceled it because otherwise that would happen. Or you can even do crouching heavy punch, but it's kind of tough to hit. I'm trying to do things about it. It's really tough to hit. It's as tough to hit as a crouching light kick was after a super in the previous version. Okay. So that's something else. So it's easier to combo after in the corner. Hooray! Her head game's getting a lot better. Now, a headless variant will now properly connect against crouching pinwheel at crouching misfortune, which means if pinwheel was crouching when you started the combo, and you do the super, and you don't have your head on, it no longer whiffs the drill part. Woo! Same with fortune. Hooray! Now, this is a sad one. And I'll try to give you some counseling, and maybe you can get a psychiatrist to help you with coping with the loss of a dear friend, which is the ground bounce on the cat spike. It is now a regular knockdown. Even if you do it really low to the ground and do a light punch afterwards, you already used the OTG. I really hope that as a fortune player, if you are a fortune player, you know that there was a reason for this, and that's because I could do this, just do this, super jump, heavy kick, do this, and then do this until the restand, and keep going like this crazy ass crap. So, no more sadness. Now, what to do? What's a guy to do? Well, you can do it, and then OTG coming down, and then you can get creative with it. I don't really care. I don't really care. But the point is that you are able to do stuff afterwards. You just need to use up the OTG. The head does not recover in time to... Oh, I can actually properly do that. I'm mashing heavy punch, and no, it does not recover fast enough to OTG from itself. Because then what's the point of the nerf? Anyway, so here's another one. The reduced hit stun on standing medium punch. Standing medium punch, it used to be that you could do something like this, and that will combo. Now, standing medium punch is, instead of being +5, I think it was, is now completely neutral. I've tested this, I have done it against Fortune, and I hit her with it, and we both have the exact same post afterwards, so I'm going to assume that it's either, you know, some really small amount or 0, but it looks a lot like 0. So it's completely neutral. That doesn't mean that you can't slightly delay the medium kick, just not as to the extreme asshole extent that you could before. Now, the head attacks will no longer hit out of the air and will always OTG after certain moves, okay? What that means is, well, sometimes when you did like Rekkas into Headbutt, you know, and the Rekkas would blow the opponent back, the Headbutt would hit and it would force a raise stand, and that's one of the things that helped do the Nom loop. But now, if I do the third Rekka and then let go, as you can see, it didn't hit her. It's because the opponent's basically going to be completely invincible to... God damn it. You know, I keep forgetting to reset it, and that's my problem. Alright, so a lot of moves have not changed, so I'm only going to show you the moves that the head is forced in OTG. The third Rekka. As you can see, that totally whiffed. If I wait, it OTGs. If I don't do anything, then the head's attack would be screw attack, and that also doesn't hit after the third Rekka until the opponent is, so it doesn't OTG, as you can see. So it used to be that you could do this, delay the light ones, and the last hit would kind of force a raise stand, so you could do a light punch afterwards. Now you have to use the OTG. The reason, of course, being you could do this and then basically have a loop there as long as the opponent kept getting hit by the head after the third Rekka. Same thing with the slide. Another ridiculous loop that was totally removed. Oops, I failed. Yep, removed. And then the other possible move was chained jumping heavy kick. Why? I don't know. Because you could do this. And then that would hit against most of the cast. Jumping heavy kick kind of formed a very horizontal landing frames. I mean, if you look at how she's fallen very horizontally. And in many of the characters, just a heavy punch would force a raise stand. On double and parasol, a forward heavy punch would force a raise stand. Now it just always OTGs on everything. You can do it unchained one too, but you know it's kind of hard to. There you go. You can do unchained and it will work. But every head move will OTG except off of chain jumping heavy kick, the sneeze, for example. Hooray for shenanigans. So that's that. And the very last thing in the list is actually very, very, very awesome, and I'll show you why. That's my phone saying it has no battery. Don't mind it. So the last thing, which is very awesome, is the fact that the Air Super, which is called Feral Edge, I believe, after a successfully connected Feral Edge, you can actually do the Feline Allergies move, which is the headless sneeze move, as an alternate way for removing your head. Isn't it funny? It looks really funny too, watch. It's funny. Well, what does that do? First off, I am very sad about the loss of this, right? Because now you have to OTG, and then I just timed the light kick wrong, so I didn't hit it this time, and I hit the head instead, and the opponent just tagged out of the way. Now, the other thing is, normally when you were doing it in the previous version, you can only really do one heavy punch before the spike, and it doesn't ever combo into the spike. And that also never worked. You had to do a heavy punch, dash, and do this into the spike, which did combo. But that uses up 2 normals in the air. So now you have more versatility because you can do more damage up front. I'll show you why. this connects on everyone, which means that you can do extreme air shenanigans. I failed, but you get the idea there. You can see some videos that I posted recently for combos. So the reason why this is pretty awesome is because now she can actually do more of her jumping heavy punches, do a super early, and do basically a bunch of damage early on. Okay, so she can do pretty big damage with her head on, which is what's so exciting about the patch Fortune, is that her head on game has become so much better because of that. So that's the last of it, actually. So in conclusion, my opinion of post-patch Fortune, she is still very much technical, but worth it. There's now a larger incentive to have the head on. I've found myself in many situations where, I kill the opponent and the opponent is bouncing or whatever. Next person's coming in, I'm like, ooh, let me get my hit real quick, and then keep going, because the amount of damage you can get is insane. Let me show you a tiny combo. Let's see how far I can keep it going. I couldn't do that right. For every character, the timing on the uppercut into the DP is a little weird and a little different. In her case, you gotta delay the DP with head, but you gotta do the head. Yeah, I did the heavy punch instead. You gotta delay the DP for the head, but the one with the kick, you gotta do it as soon as possible. Maybe I'll make a separate video for that. I might. So there you go. Post-patch Fortune, she is still kind of a bitch to everyone. She lost a few resets, but I bet that she does a lot more damage, and even though it uses up meter, I don't think anyone cares about doing a lot of damage using a lot of meter. She can still do pretty good damage without using that much meter. Here's 1 meter. Ooh, why'd I do that? I'll try to do 1 meter. Let's do something a little more practical. It's a cross up. I did a cross up. Yay! See how much damage I can do. Just 1 meter. There you go. Damage was 8,441 on a 1.0 with 1 meter. I don't want to do math, but I think as a solo character that kills a person. I don't know, 60% more damage. What's that? 48. 48 and that is still 30. Oh, God. So 30, 13, 200. I don't want to do math. So I think it may need a couple more hits. But there you go. Those are all the changes for post-patch Fortune. I hope this was very educational as a Fortune player. Or as not, if you were just curious. Thank you for watching.